Hi, this is Ian Magaha, and we are looking at problem set 3, making a hangman word game. So, to start off, we want to look at problem 1, which is seeing if the word is guessed or not. So, that is going to be this function right here, is word guessed. We are going to input a string called secret word, and that's going to be the word that the user is guessing. And then we're also going to input a letters guessed, and that is a list of what letters have been guessed so far. And we're returning one of two things. We're either returning true if all the letters of the secret word are in the letters guessed, or we are returning false if obviously the letters guessed do not make up the secret word. So we're going to start off with a counter of sorts. We need the number of letters matching. So we first have letters matches equals 0 because obviously it doesn't equal anything yet. Or I guess it equals 0. Anyway, then we have a for loop. So we're going to say for each letter and the letters that we've guessed so far. So each letter and letters guessed. If that letter and letter guessed is also in secret word, then we are going to want to um, increase the letters match to be equal to the the amount of letters. Okay, the amount of times that that letter appears in the secret word. So, for example, apple. And apple, there are two P's. If we guess P, then there are going to be two letter matches because in the secret word apple, there are two letters, or there's two P's. So, and then like this is a for loop, so we're doing that for as many letters that there are in letters guessed, and after coming out of that for loop, if the number of letters matches equals the length of secret word, then we're going to return true, and if not, we are going to return false. So there is something that you can do in this is the word guessed function, and that is instead of just doing letter matches is going to be equal to the previous letters matches plus the count of how many letters are in the secret word that you're guessing. You can divide this by um, the count of that letter and the letters guessed. And the reason you would want to do that is if you are allowing people to guess the same letter over and over again, and you're also appending that letter to your list of letters guessed. And overall, in my code, I don't append a letter again if it's guessed again. I just print out, hey, you've already guessed this letter, try again. And I don't append that letter to my letters guessed list again. I just keep the one time the letter was guessed. But if your code isn't like that and you are actually like allowing the list or the letter to be appended to the list again, then you would probably want to divide it by um, letters guessed dot count letter. Oh, I did not put letter inside the parentheses. And just to be safe, I'll go ahead and put this in parentheses. So you would want to do this, to my understanding, if you are appending a letter to your list that you've already guessed before, which I am not doing. So I feel like I don't need this. But if your code is appending the letter, like no matter what, no matter if it's a false guess, if it's a true guess, or if it's a guess you've already guessed, if you're doing that, then you probably want to add this division. Because let's say your letters guessed is APPLE and the actual word is apple. So letters guessed is apple and the actual word is apple. So there's two P's there. If we did not have this division here, then I believe we would we would add P 4 times because there's two P's in the secret word apple. And so you would add it add 2 P's for the first P in your letters guessed, and then you would guess another P. And once again, in the secret word, there's 2 P's. So you would go ahead and add another 2, which you don't want to do. So with this, it's going to check, okay, how many P's do we have in apple? We have 2 P's. Well, how many times does P appear in our letters guessed? Well, if you have APPLE, then you have 2 P's. So we're going to divide it by 2. And then, so you would get 1, because 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. And then you go through the for loop again, and then we're going to reach that second P. So we go in secret word again. How many P's are in secret word? There's going to be 2. And then how many P's are in letters guessed? There's going to be 2. So it's going to be 1 plus 1. So personally, I don't think it's necessary for me to have this code, because I'll show you later in a later problem that I don't append the letter if it's already guessed. But if you do that, you should keep this. But anyway, so after looping through, I don't know if I've already said this, but after looping through the for loop and you get out, you want to check to see if the letter matches is going to equal the length of the secret word, because if that equals the length of the secret word, then obviously you have the same number of letters in the letter matches than you have in the letters of the secret word. So yeah, your guesses are true. You've made up, or you have a letter for each letter in the secret word. If that's not the case, then you just return false. You did not guess the word correctly. All right, I will be right back with problem 2 and problem set 3.